Alright, what's up strangers, it's your boy, and in today's video I'm basically going to be going over Escalation, which was the mode, or technically yes it was, the mode that came out with the update, a few days ago. But either way, the Escalation mode is an incredibly fun one, but there is a lot of problems with it, especially the fact that if the brute is just AFK or they're just running around not doing anything, literally you could just lose the game right then and there. Or maybe just like when you get to the final round, the brute just despawns or they just leave the game. Literally the humans just get an instant win, and it's just really buggy, really. And there's a lot of problems in this game, or in the mode technically, but still there's a lot of other buggy problems. But still, I'm going to be telling you guys the tips and tricks, or technically loadout guides, about how to increase your chances to get to one of the last stages of the boss round, or most likely to the very last stage of the brute the brute round in Escalation mode. So the first thing you want to do, or the first thing we're going to talk about, is of course what should you bring before the modes begins, or when you're about to go into it. Obviously you're going to need a Roblox weapon. You know, I was thinking about how this game is turning into a pay to win game at this point. But either way, a Roblox weapon or a diamond weapon, they're both technically the same thing. But either way, which weapon do you want to bring? So these are the 5 weapons that I 100% recommend you bring, or just one of them, if whichever one you prefer. But number 5 is Minigun. Yes, Minigun is incredibly powerful and strong with a lot of ammo and rapid fire and everything like that. The only problem is that if you use it in the early game, you're not going to have it on the very important round, or even on the boss round. And if you do have it on those rounds, but you did use it earlier, you're not going to have that much ammunition. And plus, if you do take it out and use it against the boss, the brute can just like start whapping you, and especially the fact that they could just use their abilities on you and you'll just become an easy target. Yes, the minigun is strong and everything, you're just really slow and you're making yourself an easy target with your slowness. And plus, if whatever reason you decide, hey, the minigun is worth getting because of its damage, rapid fire, and you do have a team to do it with, like people, like friends or something like that though, and you're asking what else should I bring, it's either going to be RPG, Python, melee as either the ham is like a must because all the damage you're going to be taking, or the katana, because the katana can help you take out the enemies in the earlier rounds, so you can use that minigun later on. And then armors, obviously juggernaut armor, then pumpkin pie if you have that. If not, then just use whatever else, and then defender, whatever else you want to use there. That's the minigun setup. The other setup, which is I also kind of recommend, is the Gauss gun, whoever calls it that. Laser rifle is mostly what I call it. Now this setup is actually very good, I guess, and the fact is that laser rifle is incredibly strong. Well, not incredibly strong, it's just pretty strong in this game. But just like the minigun, it does have its cons where it is really slow. So at this point you should also be using a heavy armor or juggernaut armor, because why not? And of course you have to be near an ammo station at all costs, because this gun does bleed through ammo fast. So being next to an ammunition station and you shooting the infected will let you, increase your chances to survive a lot longer, and plus kill as many infected as possible. So this setup is incredibly good. Gauss gun, RPG is like a must. The melee, which is either gonna be ham, which is also very good, or machete, or maybe even hammer because of the constant effect that are around you all the time. Then there's of course juggernaut armor, heavy armor, and then finally whatever you want utility, and then whatever you want defender. And then finally the next weapon we're going to be talking about, which is technically the must weapon, is the flamethrower. The flamethrower is a must in this game, or in the mode technically. So the flamethrower can take out multiple enemies at once and is very good. Plus it's not that expensive, it's like 300-ish Robux I think, and more or less it has a crap ton of ammo, a lot of damage, especially the fact that you can kill multiple enemies at once, especially damage multiple enemies at once, especially the fact you can usually just shoot it through walls, and whatever zombies are on the other side you can damage still, so that's good as well. So obviously it's going to be flamethrower. Secondly is either going to be Python or RPG, mostly I guess RPG to hit the tanglers or any other zombies that are across the map. Then there's of course in the melee either the rake, because you want to be as far away as possible, or just not really, or ham or whatever. Then in the what's it called, armor section, you need to either use speed armor or small armor, because if you do have heavy armor, you'll be an easy target, because I mean you are really slow and all. So having speed armor or small armor makes you go faster and faster, and of course be a harder target, plus with the annoyance of being constantly flaming zombies. So yeah, take light armor or a speed armor. Utilities, either use the candy cane so you can get some extra distance when you're about to die, or just pumpkin pie or whatever else you want, maybe even soda for whatever. And then after that, you mainly want to use, of course, whatever defender, probably like gingerbread at most, or probably what's it called, Yeti defender if you do have it, but many people know how to do it. But either way, that's the, it's called flamethrower setup. The next weapon, which is a must, which isn't technically a primary weapon, is the RPG. This RPG is incredibly good in this game to take out multiple infected with one shot. Now, I would highly recommend, if you do have it, to mainly use it on either the hunter, the shaman round. So especially in the shaman round, here's a tip. On the shaman round, when all the shamans are all in one place, use your pipe bomb, and while they're all going to the pipe bomb, use your RPG to damage them to at least 200 to 300 HP. Then just shoot them with all your other weapons. And while a lot of them are super low, the pipe bomb can finish them off, which will actually get you to the next round a lot more likely. So that's a little tip. But either way, the RPG is incredibly good in most of these waves, especially the hunters, the zombies, the shaman, the chillers as well. But either way, this gun is incredibly good. Now, I recommend using it on the rounds that there's a crap ton of them and they're about to die. And you're about to die, but also in the kind of final roundish, because there's going to be a bunch of regular infected all swarming you, and there's going to be that big boss, so you might as well use it on the small infected instead of the big boss. Now, the next weapon, which is also extremely good, is the Tommy gun. I am a Tommy main, and me putting it on this list just makes me feel happy. But either way, the Tommy gun, ever since it's got its buff, it just became literally S or A tier. It just became even stronger than it was before. So putting it in this mode is literally also a must, because it takes down enemies within seconds. Seconds. Spaz, yes, it does do great, but when you're constantly reloading and missing as well, and constantly infected get in the way, or just every other day, you're going to be wanting a weapon that can finish them off and has a lot more ammo. So that's where the Tommy gun comes in. It has a crap ton of ammo, fire rate is really good, accuracy is really good, because they're all going to be all around you and very close to you. So yeah, this gun is incredibly good, and it's basically next to the flamethrower. It's also a must because it takes down infected with ease, gives you a lot more ammo to run around and protect each other, and the distance of it is actually really good, especially with its accuracy. So yeah, these 5 weapons are incredibly good and are a must in this game alone. Now, now that we've finished about the loadout, or technically I haven't even finished the Tommy gun loadout, I'm sorry, the Tommy gun loadout, which ones you want to put in is of course RPG, and then finally the melee is either going to be ham, if you want to be a complete dickhead, or you want to put a hammer in, which is I would want to use, because there's going to be constant zombies and you want to help each other out as well. Then there's the armor, which is either going to be light or easy speed armor. Now, Juggernaut armor, yes, it does good with Tommy. It's just the fact that, of course, you are becoming an easier target, especially with the chillers and hunters, so you don't really want to use Juggernaut for this setup. So, speed armor or light armor. Then there's the utility, which is, of course, going to be candy cane or pumpkin pie or anything else, really. And, what's it called? The defense is either going to be Yeti, gingerbread, or whatever else. So yeah, that's the setup for the Tommy gun and all the other setups for all of these guns. And plus RPG, I didn't really make it a setup because you could put it with any other gun, so there's that. So now, after we've done about that, what do you do in this game mode? Well, there's obviously a different amount of, basically there's like 2 versions of this game mode. There's one wave that doesn't have shamans, and because they don't have shamans, they have, I think, chillers or hunters instead. And then there's the other escalation, waves, where it does have shamans, and I'm pretty sure maybe even hunters as well. So basically, if you don't have shamans in that escalation mode, you're gonna have hunters or chillers. And if that escalation game mode does have shamans, you're either gonna get chillers or gonna have hunters next as as like a final boss. But I'm pretty sure as the final zombies, it's always gonna be Francisco. So for the hunters, obviously you just want to be like on a second story on just like a little hill so you can get the advantage. Riot's the same thing, just be up high a little bit so you can actually get the advantage. Francisco's easy, just turn on your flashlight or have your flamethrower out, just kill them with ease. Shamans, this is going to be the most incredibly hard round, but basically just throw your pipe bomb, finish them off with your RPG, or just shoot them with your RPG, and once they're all pretty low and they can't heal, the pipe bomb will definitely finish them off so you can get to the next round as fast as possible. Then after that, what's it called, or just what we're going to be talking about, the other infected waves you might come upon, is the Tanglers. The Tanglers are actually pretty easy, just dodge around, continue moving, continue jumping around so you can make yourself a harder target, and all the other modes are actually really good as well. So now we come to the question, what do you do onto the final round? The final round is actually going to be a little bit difficult to explain, but on the final round, once it starts or once you're preparing, heal as much as possible. Then go on top of a building to actually scope out the area, especially where the brute is going to spawn. Once the brute spawns, of course, try to shoot them and try to aim for their head as much as possible. And ignore kind of the zombies that are hitting you, but if they constantly hit you and you're getting drained from your health, just shoot them and just get them off of you. It's not really that big of a deal. But after that, you constantly want to shoot the brute, and if he's after you, you don't want to basically you don't want to be in one specific area all the time. You want to travel around the map as what's it called, as slow and as consistent as possible. If the brute is constantly on your tail, try traveling around the map as a clockwork, so you can go around the map like a loop and around, so you can actually drag him around and he won't be able to hit you as much as often. Plus he is kind of a little bit faster than you, but still, when you're constantly moving around the map as like a clockwork loop, you'll be able to have the advantage. And what's it called, if you are constantly on the move, or if you're constantly shooting at the brute, don't get too close. Stay at least a few more meters away from him, still within range, so you can actually deal damage with like your flamethrower or Tommy gun. So when he uses his ground slime ability, you won't be affected in many cases. So yeah, that's basically my guide on how to escalation and how to get into the what's it called, final round as fast as possible, and how to get there, increasing your chances, and maybe even kill the brute even if he's an incredibly difficult boss.